Hear ye, hear ye. It's June, and you know what that means. It is the annual Swolecast summer episode.
God.
It's bad.
It's all-time
It's bad. If you understood what happened behind the scenes too, you'd understand. We're a little flustered, but we're gonna get through it. Davis is having some technical difficulties.
No, StreamYard is having technical difficulties. It's not anything I'm doing.
All right. So we'll get into it. Davis, can you play the intro, or are we just going like straight into it?
Are you Davis Maddox from the Swolecast? I was like, yep, that's me.
I just want you guys to know I'm total dust. I'm the problem.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Leave it to the guy with the crypto dunes, Abby, to not understand context.
I should have known you getting 30 likes was directly written by someone else.
You know me, I don't do a ton of research before the show.
I've put no research into this. Don't know if it's true at all.
You're on the right show.
To it, bro. Live a little.
Live a little.
Just live a little, guys.
All right.
So it's displaying properly. I have it pulled up in YouTube. It is displaying properly. All three of us are on the screen. I do not know why it's not working in StreamYard. Dave, I don't know.
Can you see me, though, in your StreamYard, Davis?
No, but I can see you in the small little preview window.
Yeah.
Davis, now that you know how to cut things out of episodes, you want to cut Kitchen's Cold Open?
It was so bad. I said Swolecast Swummer.
You didn't want to try Swolestential Crisis. I honestly thought that was some of my best work in terms of a title.
Yeah, when I went to go make a thumbnail, I saw Swolestential Crisis, and I just said, okay, I'm just going to go with Swolecast.
I actually like Swolestential, but it's Swolextential.
Swolextential.
Which yeah. I think Swolestential, he rolls off the tongue a little better there.
Yeah.
Tuttle not here today.
What?
So, yeah, I know, it's crazy. He said he talked a little. He said he talked a little too much on last week's show. Also caught some flack for asking if we had field day back in our day. So that was a little crazy. Obviously, a lot of people chimed in. We appreciate your comments about how field day was such a vital part of your upbringing. Samesies. So Tuttle not here today. That's okay. Pete, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I was just remembering another field day story that one time it was like the classic, like 40-yard dash. And my dad was recording it, and it was so close that they had to go and watch back the replay of my dad's tape.
And back then it was probably camcorder.
He had the huge camcorder, and they're on the little preview screen, and he's rewinding it back, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Shane, actually edged out Pete by just a hair."
They did a photo finish.
Legit photo finish. I should
was
have my
your dad disappointed in you that you lost that?
Well, always. So it's just another day at the office for my dad.
Peter was lapping the fatties, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I think people like the format of the show from last week.
Yeah,
I'm like, you got some.
Well, did. There was one comment. It's like, you guys call yourself fantasy football, and you haven't even talked barely any fantasy. I was like, barely even. We didn't talk any.
Barely even. Yeah, I don't think we got into fantasy football at all
last week, but that's okay. Like, there's so much info out there already. And we have.
And you're not going to get any of it here.
No. We're just like regurgitating it a little. Oh my gosh, what just happened?
I'm messing with this to try and get your video onto the screen, David.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I wanted to have today's format be the Swolecast around the horn. It looks like Davis is not going to let that happen. So with that
David,
being
for
said,
the
let's
viewers,
get into the Overzet's overview.
Got that dog in her butt. Got that dog in her butt. Overzet, over you. Come on.
All right. No Mr. Tuttle 05 on the show today. He's actually watching game tape of his children's field day from last week. So he felt so bad about missing it. He's just watching it. The Oklahoma City Thunder are on the brink of winning an NBA championship, which means we all know Davis. A big congrats. The Thunder, of course, are one of 14 professional sports franchises that Davis claims as his own. Congrats.
Okay, I didn't think you were going to go in that direction. I thought you were going to do a congrats or I'm sorry for having to stay up past 9 p.m. Central Time.
Oh, I mean, I'm so far beyond that. My college buddies have been sweating the hockey stuff. They like bet some futures, and I just wake up to like 100 messages of them going back and forth. I'm just like, just tell me who won.
I stay up. I just want it on the record. I stay up for the Thunder.
You don't.
And I do.
Oh, for the Thunder?
Yeah, and I regret it every morning. Every morning when it's terrible.
No, you can't be doing that. We kind of messed up the flow of my tag to that first joke, which is Davis treats rooting for pro teams like best ball exposures. He wants a clean 8.3% of every one.
That was good.
That was good.
Speaking of fandom, my beloved Colorado Rockies are quite possibly the worst team in the history of baseball. I've actually been following the team closely, and I think we'll turn it around once we get Cooper Flag, though. That's what. I've actually been following baseball really closely this year, specifically Paul Skeens' girlfriend in Sports Illustrated.
Is that Liv Dunn?
Yeah, are you familiar with her work in the Sports Illustrated?
Oh, Dave, be careful.
Kitchen.
I have not seen the is it out? I have not seen the cover.
I like how you're playing dumb. You are acting like a guy who poured over these images. Is it out? Are there photos?
I swear.
This
isn't sixth grade Dave who was thumbing through a back in our day. Someone brought a Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition, and it was like you were thumbing through it through the sleepovers.
Do you know what this just reminds me? This isn't officially a written joke, but Kitchen, I follow the Hotel Wailea Instagram page where we have both stayed, and every time I see their like new promo images, I always think like, what if this is Kitchen on his vacation? It's always just like the most beautiful looking models like hanging out at the resort, and I'm like, whoa, did they get a shot of Kitchen on his anniversary trip?
They did.
All right. Lots of high-profile performers have recently been outed for using illegal drugs as a coping mechanism for their strenuous jobs, including Elon Musk and Stefan Diggs. What do we think lasts longer, Elon's stint in the government or Davis's streaming career?
Ooh. Well, Elon's already out. He did his exit interview yesterday, so I think I beat him. Man, I think we can say it's safe.
Is it like it's pretty, Musk goes in there and his only coping mechanism is taking a shit ton of drugs and lasts what? Was it like 6 months, 7 months before he got chewed up and spit up? I think that's how Trump is like built completely different. Like he's just like able to withstand all of that. And Elon's the richest man on the planet. He's like, can't do it. Yeah.
Doesn't need ketamine. Shout out.
Saquon Barkley is going to be on the cover of Madden, causing many to wonder if he's cursed. But the Madden curse is nothing compared to a best ball streamer curse of fading him before a legendary year, only to happily take him at 102 the next. I'm sure this will work out for all of us. And we got rave reviews about the show format last week, and then had zero discussions about formalizing it since then, or improving it, or getting overlays made. But we all got a lot on our plate.
Yes.
And when Kitchen is done eating it, maybe we'll figure it out. At first, when I said the plate, I was actually gonna go with like the weights, like the plates that you have outside, and I was like, oh no, we just go for the low hanging fruit here. All right.
Oh,
That's it.
Is that it?
That's it.
I feel like I'm now like, have you like Luka Doncic? He's all
Yeah.
like all the like someone took a picture of him like on vacation. It's like, look at that plate. He cleaned that thing. Like, I feel like that's
You two, yeah. There's a lot of similarities between you guys. Like you're just these elite performers at
high
the top of your
profile.
field, in spite of not taking
High
care of yourselves.
Oh, guys. So I did go. My oldest daughter had her last basketball tournament, and it was in the Smoky Mountains. So was not here when they delivered the weights and the bar and everything else. So I just asked my neighbor. I was like, "Hey, can your boys basically take all the weights and put them in the detached garage, and I'll tip them?" Well, I guess they weren't around, so he had to do it. And I didn't realize that like the bench press that I got was like 200. I was like 300 and something pounds of weights that he had to go from my front door all the way to the back of the detached garage. So shout out to Andrew. I am clearing out a space. We're getting it. There you go, Davis.
You still working on the stream there, dude?
it's just not working.
Hey,
it's
Davis,
not gonna happen.
just leave it be. Just leave it be.
Well, I have another show after this where we are trying to. We're going to use a new tool on runthesims.com, and it's just like probably not going to happen now if
No.
my computer can't do this.
I don't think it's a computer thing. It sounds like a StreamYard thing. Hope they get it figured out before the late round fantasy football show episode 3 airs on 1 p.m. on Thursday.
How are you enjoying stepping back into the world of actually talking about fantasy football on a stream?
I like it. And it is, I still get to be like myself. Like I still get to just ask questions and be a normie. You know, it's nice being on the show with a sharp person though, as far as asking those questions too. No,
right.
I'm gonna get
Just finally being on a show with sharp people. It's just a nice breath of fresh air.
Yeah. Rising tide lifts all boats.
Mood said in the Swole only Discord, he said, "We are."
Oh man, I like how. Do you think Davis can continue to blame it on StreamYard, or maybe it's his fault?
This might be the ID 10T error. Well, since Davis is gone, how does that work? If you set up the stream and we're on it, like that, it's still fires?
That's honestly like one of the nice things about StreamYard with it being all browser based. I always remember my very first time that happened to me. I had just started using StreamYard and I was doing the randomizer drafts, and I had TJ Hernandez on as my guest, and we had a power outage in my neighborhood. And I'm probably like 4 or 5 randomizer drafts in, you know, still pretty green there. And I felt so bad because I just have TJ just like on screen for this gimmicky thing. And he's just completely hung out to dry while I'm frantically trying to spin up power there. But yes, we're still here despite Davis's computer.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Davis, you're talking, but we can't hear you. Pete can't hear you either. He just said.
No, I can hear you. I can hear Davis.
Pete.
Damn it, Kitchen. I mean,
I have no answer. Everything looks good on my end. I got nothing.
That's the theme of this show. We got nothing for you, but we still got about 40 minutes to go.
44 minutes to kill. Yeah. So, Davis, can you still see me?
I got you. You're back. You're in my window now.
Do you have Peter?
I got Peter.
Okay, so
Everyone's
we're fine.
here. We're
good.
fine.
Yeah.
We're doing yeah. Pete, you did let Kitchen down right there.
It was going to be a really good bit. I even said, Pete can't hear you either, to try to.
Here's the thing. The reason I didn't pick up what Kitchen was laying down is we did that entire Abbott and Costello bit for real before going live. It was like, I can't see you. I can see you. And so I didn't know if we were still in actual troubleshooting mode there.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm sorry, Kitchen. I let you down.
It's okay. All right. Cam Ward apparently been getting into the film room at 5 a.m. and having to be kicked out.
Leading David Kitchen's group chat to say He's one of the good ones.
No.
Wait, kicked out because he's there too early,
Because
or having
he's
to
there
wait
too
to go
late.
in?
Have me kicked out of the building some nights. This according to Brian Callahan.
I thought you just said he was getting there at 5 a.m. So he's
Cam
getting
Ward
there
has been
super
coming in
early?
at 5 a.m. and then having to be kicked out of the building some nights.
I think that's bearish. It sounds like he doesn't have anyone in his life, like any meaningful relationships or people to spend time with.
I think it's bullish. The amount of disrespect that this guy is getting as a number 1 overall pick.
I do just want to point out the last memory of coach speak about a guy getting to the facility super early that I can recall was Jaleel McLaughlin last year. Champagne's like, this guy's here at 4 a.m. just every single, and then proceeded to give him 4.5 touches a game. So I don't know if we should be excited about that.
He got more touches than you remember. Jaleel McLaughlin. He just did what do the kids say? He did fuck all with his touches, I think is what they would say.
And also, if I can just continue to shit on this report, what if it just means that he's like his processing time with like understanding film and concepts is just much slower? Like if someone tells you it took them like 2.5 years to read a book and they're always reading that book, like, should we be applauding them or should we be like, hey, maybe you could read that book a little faster?
That's a good point. That's a good point, Peter.
I guess my take is that no matter how hard you work, there are people who will always try to tear down that ethic. So, Cam, you're not the only one.
Even know what it would be like.
You're not the only one Pete's done this too.
David is neither working smarter nor harder.
Pete deconstructing your work ethic is nothing new, Cam Ward. All right.
Someone has to pour some cold water on the laundry fanaticism. All the laundry bros get hyped. They all process this coach speak specifically as it tailors to their needs. And I just want to be the voice of reason here.
Can I ask a Titans question though? Who's your wide receiver 3 if you're drafting? Like if you're stacking Titans, who is it?
Chimere DK.
Is it?
He's drafted less often.
Mm-hmm.
If that helps. So Io Manor's probably close to like 40% drafted, 30% drafted. DK is probably 2% drafted, if that even.
So you're saying under that question, who is the 2? Is it Lockett for you?
Yeah, it has to be, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, Van Jefferson too, I guess, who's not being drafted at all.
I actually, all Cam Ward slander aside, I've actually been drafting him a ton, and I've been tacking on Chig a decent bit with him.
Time to learn Gunnar Helm. Buddy.
Gunnar Helm, bro.
Dude. Gunnar
dumbest take.
Gunnar Helm's jersey is gonna go triple platinum at Nashville. I don't know. Bars. I guess if you were a Nashville local, you wouldn't go to Broadway or whatever.
This might be like someone asked like JJ's thing that I don't agree with. It's like the Gunnar. Why isn't Gunnar Helm one of your top tight end prospects for this upcoming year?
Well, he broke his ankle at the combine.
He sprained his ankle. If you see a picture of his ankle when he ran at the combine, of course his numbers are not going to be that great. But if you look at the grit inside of him, to not even tell anybody until afterwards about it.
All right, let's check the chain. What percentage of Gunnar Helm do you two have in drafts since you're so bullish on this rookie second string tight end for the Titans?
I have a ton.
I think I have
the big board.
I think I have about 10 to 15% of them in DK draft because he's free in the 20th round.
You're selecting Gunnar Helm in post NFL draft contests.
Why wouldn't you?
I mean, I guess with the DraftKings credit hits, I mean, it's not your money.
Pre-draft, I have 10.6% of Gunnar Helm.
I just don't like Pete. You don't like red zone threats that can catch the ball.
I think he's like sub 5% chance to be fantasy relevant this year.
Yeah, I don't even know if Chig is going to be fantasy relevant.
Yeah, I'm more bearish on Chig because of Gunnar, basically.
this is my thesis with late round tight ends. I'm not like hunting for a breakout with Chig or Dalton Schultz or Kate Otten. You're trying to buy a bounce back offense. God damn it, we're talking about fantasy football. And if they're scoring touchdowns, we know the tight end is going to be a part of that. They're going to fall into the end zone a few times if the team breaks out. And the Titans are one of the cheapest teams to stack right now. So yes, I'll stand by the Chig.
But you just have so many options for you to stack with them in later rounds. Like,
well, and that's why I think
Xavier Restrepo, you know?
I think
that's pretty Gunnar Helmy.
Yeah,
I
think
he's
I'm
more
good.
valuable in PPR best ball sites, probably.
Wow, great ambassador. Not even saying the name DraftKings.
just PPR. This is like back when DFS used to be big. Like there would be like 6 DFS sites. People would say across the industry, you know, and things like that, or on be like on base sites, because like FanDuel and Draft Street were like on base sites, and DraftKings and Draft Day were like power sites where like home runs were more important. The golden era.
I love people, like I've been listening to the late round, like I listened to his one with Crane, and I love how like JJ has to pretend that underdog doesn't exist. He's like, on other sites, on other half point PPR, it's like, it's okay. I get paid by underdog. I could say the word DraftKings. It's okay.
He said underdog once. He also said UD one time.
And then he made you scrub it.
And then he said half point PPR at one of their sites. So he didn't say anything like defamatory about.
Well, no, there's a small chance that the audience who watched him become an underdog best ball bro might have completely forgotten about underdog. And if he doesn't mention them, their memory might not be jogged.
When you're going from one site to the next, sometimes you're unsure about how often you should mention that the previous site.
I get it.
When you're with a new lover, do you always reference your former ex-girlfriend? Like,
I think the better cop would be it's like your deceased former wife. And I think it is okay to say Linda was an incredible partner to me last year when I became a best ball bro.
When I became a best ball bro.
Okay, the Saquon Barkley thing. Here's my question. Do you guys still play video games?
No.
I played NCAA 25 for a little bit, but I just don't have time.
Who said Schmunder Schmog? That should be the bit.
Yeah.
Instead of Schmash Schmings, like we used to say back in the day. Schmunder
yeah, the badge bros always say redacted. So you guys need an equivalent.
Yeah. But Davis, I feel like if anyone on this show played video games, it'd be you. So you are no longer.
I just don't have time. I have to cut. Like even if I don't always actually have to be working, just like I have to pretend to myself that I'm always working, or I hate myself. So it's either I'm working, thinking about work, or hating myself.
Can I be honest? They don't even appeal to me anymore.
Oh, they appeal to me. I would love to sit down for 90 minutes and just grind some MLB The Show.
My thing, I'm with Kitchen. I have zero appeal. The thing I am nostalgic for is like college dorm room, playing FIFA, Smash Brothers, just like with the guys,
Halo
late at night. Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
High school playing Madden tournaments with the fellas. I miss that, but I have zero interest of sitting down by myself to play video games.
Yeah. Like even, the girls, they have a Switch and like they will play it. And I'm never like, hey, let me see that. Can I play Animal Crossing, too? Like, what do you got going on?
Kitchen, do you guys do screen time? Is that like a thing that you have to limit, or how do you guys enforce that?
It's different all the time. I am much more cognizant of like screen time than I feel like they wear down my wife, and she's like, sure, go for it. Also, we're both like working from home. So sometimes it's just like, it's like the babysitter, but I really try to say, all right, no screen time for right now, be bored, whatever. go outside, read a book, and you just can't get away from. I think whenever I saw like YouTube, people like employees that worked at YouTube, like not letting their kids get on screens. That was when I was like, okay, this is probably pretty bad.
Anyone who knows anything about social media tries to keep their kids as far away from it as possible. It wrecks your brain. It's like using social media is like smoking a cigarette.
Yeah. I mean, and you have like, I'm not letting our girls get like cell phones until they're in 8th grade. Like, yeah. And that's like a big thing, but I think that we'll see a shift probably, people being like, okay, this is unhealthy for them to have social media when they're 12.
I've heard both for kids and then also like adults. It's like a trend now that more and more phone companies are going to make like dumb phones, brick phones type things, where it's just like you can only text your parents. I think right now though they're pretty expensive, is what I've heard for like what you're getting. Like it needs to be streamlined so you can actually buy one for like $40. But yeah, I think that's like a pretty good compromise too, because I heard someone talking about it who had a kid that's in like 5th grade, and he said he's the only kid without a smartphone in his class, and the kid gave a PowerPoint presentation to his parents, and it was making the case. And he made the convincing argument he made was like, when you were a kid, you had a phone at home that you could come home to and you could call your friends. Like you had something. And so then being like, at least let me have something so I can text my friends, even if I'm not allowed to go, surf the net.
Yeah. That was kind of what my wife, because I didn't let them have like group chat. And she's like, you talk to like friends on the phone when you were like younger, right? And I'm like, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I might be going too far on that. I'm trying to not like just feed. There's a book called I think The Anxious Generation that talks about just the mental effect that technology, screen, social media is having on kids. But it was funny because we were in a hotel this past weekend and the girls discovered like there's a phone in the hotel room. And so they were calling other rooms. And
that's a classic.
They thought it was the coolest thing ever. They had never called anyone on a classic phone before.
On a landline.
Wow.
And so it was like something, and I was like telling them about prank calls and trying to get them to prank call people. And then we get into we go somewhere and there's like a old school phone booth. And my youngest was like, I'm going to call one of the girls from here. And just like, did not understand that that's not how it worked. Like you couldn't just, it's not just magic to them. They don't understand the concept of like cable TV, like not having something on demand, it's completely foreign to them.
I still have my dad's old work phone number memorized because that would be the thing. Like during the day, like if you needed to call up my dad or have him, it's just like, all right, hop on the phone to have that kind of access too is like the only way to communicate.
Swolecast, only media my 2-year-old is allowed to consume. That's like,
I think the appropriate age to start watching the Swolecast is never. Just don't ever watch it.
Did you hear about that? Reminds me of that. Davis will pretend like he doesn't know him or he doesn't actually know him. But Kitchen, are you familiar with the Barstool personality, the Jersey Dave guy?
You think I know like C-level Barstool personalities, Peter?
Jersey Dave?
Whatever. Let me get to the point of this. So he is like a sports gambling tout for them. He's done a bunch of like stunts and stuff. He's a pretty funny dude. Anyways, he decided that he wanted to develop a children's show for Barstool, like a legit dead ass, like Miss Rachel, Mr. Roger style thing.
Jersey Jerry. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Jersey Dave. Sorry. Yeah. Jersey Jerry. See, even I don't know.
Yes, I do know Jersey Jerry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Jersey Jerry. So I'm pretty sure they like recorded like 4 or 5 episodes or whatever. And the latest I heard is that it's now going to get canceled or not. be greenlit because there's issues like parents and people found out that he's a sports betting tout. Like that's the other thing they do. And they're like, I don't want to be associated with this gambling guy who also is trying to be our generation's Mr. Rogers.
And he does all these shticks as far as like the challenges.
Yes.
Where he has to, so that's funny. You guys will appreciate this. Like the parents of the girls that were on this basketball team for this trip, when we went to Dollywood on Friday, and so someone created like a folder for everyone to put their photos in, and they were all riding the roller coasters, and like I saw them getting in trouble. I was in one line, they were in the other. They're in the fast pass line because they're spoiled, and it's a team full of girls, and these are 11 and 12-year-old girls. And so they're like giggling, and I am like taking video to put it in this folder. And this girl turns around that's on the team and goes, "Oh my goodness, who is this weird guy taking video of us?" And this is like in a packed roller coaster line. And I immediately turned it off. And, it doesn't take a lot for me to get embarrassed. But like even my daughter was like doing this right here. Like and I was like, no. You guys know me. You're
you guys know me.
I mean, it was totally, I was totally like flustered. I was totally flustered in that moment. And I knew like some people were like, okay, it's probably a joke, but let's see. Like I could just feel a million different people staring at me to see like how this plays out.
That is incredible because there's literally nothing you can say or do.
No.
Like if you keep doing it, you're weird. Like if you slowly try to stop doing it, if you immediately stop doing it, looks like you're caught. Like you were in a no-win situation.
Yeah. Frankie says Tuttle's having a really strong show. Yes, he is.
That was actually the StreamYard issue is Davis just hasn't been able to get Tuttle up on screen, but
I actually have no idea what it is. Something is wrong with my computer. Classic. But yeah, Tuttle, we miss him. I do think we should do, it will take a little bit of preparation and forethought, but we should do best ball around the horn.
It honestly,
best ball around the horn or like Swolecast
around the horn.
Swolecast, you have a few fantasy topics, we can have people suggest topics.
I
think the way to actually do this for it to get done is we do get like a little overlay made, something for, how we want it to look. I don't think we are going to get our shit together to have like an actual nice topic bar. So we'll just need to use the StreamYard topic bar down below. And then we just roll through the topics.
Do we have to have a topic bar would be my question.
I think so, because that's the one.
That's the essence.
My issue is how do we keep score? They do like how do we actually keep score?
That's on you, Mr. Reale.
I'll get a chalkboard, do the Woody Page bit.
Well, I was going to say like we could do the late round fantasy football show. We have the Google Sheets thing. We could maybe do an overlay of just a number on the sheet. But you would have to. I don't know how to present that. We'll figure it out. Or we just say, hey, I'll just keep track of it on the.
What if we each got our own little whiteboard, like a handheld whiteboard, and you tell us like how many points, and then we'll write down and we can give updates on how many points we have.
There you go. Brandon says, got to profesh this up a bit. Okay. Yeah, and we need your help coming up with topics. This is not. We're not going to go to Chat GPT or Claude to ask what topics should we, say on this. So
it would be very funny, Kitchen. This actually sounds like the perfect way for you to waste like 20 hours is to post transcripts of the entirety of Swolecast history into one of these AI engines and ask it to come up with good topics based on the content we have already made.
I've already thought about like scraping the just all of our Swolecast episodes to find just basically be a catalog of when stuff happened. But I think there's just so many episodes. I don't know if and it would be so I don't know if AI is there yet, basically. If they could like digest
Well, you know what?
Swolecast episode perfectly.
I was just talking about this with Pat Mayo, and one of the big issues with AI the way it exists now, specifically for recorded content, is it can't tell when you're being sarcastic. So because Mayo and I both have our stuff on takes, and he said, he doesn't mind it, but he was getting tagged as like positively liking Hideki Matsuyama, whatever, not important. But he was like sarcastically being like, yeah, you'd have to be can't wait to bet on Hideki to win at Oakmont. But the LLM has no way to read tone. So it thinks he's giving out a play that he's not giving out. Kind of interesting. You wouldn't think of that when you started diagnosing like how an LLM would work to take in a podcast or a show or whatever.
I thought you said MLM at first.
No.
Like
same diff.
That is something.
Did you guys see the Leone and Bales back and forth? We talked about it on Lulz.
Yes.
Okay, so I definitely saw it, and I didn't get a chance to listen to the episode, but I saw that you covered it. Was there anything else that was coming out of that?
Not just that they did. Takes came out and said that any creator can opt out of it. Like if you're featured and you don't want to be in it, which
is how it should work, right?
Right, but they also didn't. It wasn't until Leone was in the DMs that they decided to announce that policy as opposed to at the start.
I guess this is just the narcissist in me, but like when they talked to me about putting my stuff on there, I was like, oh my God, absolutely. How can I make this easier for you? What type of content? Like, I was like, I love the idea of having a database of the shit that I say, or just having someone who goes there.
This is kind of there's a long history of this. This is not like Takes isn't the first one to try to take content for their profit. Like we saw back in the Fantasy Pros days, early Fantasy Pros days, they were scraping rankings from people and putting it out there. Now you have to actually go in,
opt in. Yeah,
you not just opt in. You have to go in and back in, and you have to submit your rankings on their site because you want to be, featured on that site.
Well, and Davis, the point I made a similar point on there. Like, I'm not opting out because no one is going to my streams or like are not going to click my stream because they heard that I hate Jack Bash in a gambly blurb or whatever. But I do think it's a little different for originators, like people who are coming up with projections or content, like stealing those clicks away. Like I can understand why someone would want to opt out if that is how you are approaching your content, or that is the kind of, service you provide.
Yeah, it's it's a balancing act, because I think like right now, like JJ will probably opt out.
Well, JJ's a perfect example. Like JJ's doing data heavy research and produce like 20-25 minute episodes.
Yeah.
And people like JJ as a personality, but a lot of people are going to listen to those just for the nuggets. Yeah. And if you can go get those aggregated somewhere else, why are you going to give JJ the click? And JJ's so big that he's not benefiting from the exposure angle.
That's what I'm saying is that like,
I think would be the difference. Yeah.
It's good for people that are like, just think of like all the RotoViz guys, like back in the day, RotoViz was kind of the playground that you would discover people, and then say, okay, this guy's good.
Who has a better tree, RotoViz or David Kitchen?
Dude, the RotoViz tree is crazy. If you really like,
it is.
John Bales is on the RotoViz tree, really.
Yeah.
Like the RotoViz tree. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Bales, Denny, Hermsmeyer.
Well, the founding members, the original group was myself,
the douche,
Fantasy Douche, Bales.
I love how you
John
mentioned
Moore.
Myself as the first name you mentioned.
What is there? I mean, it's just, I think I was maybe posted like the 5th article ever on the site.
I'll never forget an article Davis wrote for RotoViz about Ladarius Green. For some reason, that's the one I always remember that you wrote.
Many such cases.
He was a Gunnar Helm ass addition to the end of my bench that year.
Now, one could argue that other members of that founding group of people went on to bigger and better things, but
I mean, it'd be a tough argument to make. Went on to find multiple companies, be coworkers with Nate Silver, but
technically, I think John Moore left the industry, so me and John like basically the same. Although John's probably...
But John had a career at PFF before that.
Yeah, so, no one knows how to find a winning position and turn it into a losing position better than me.
Someone said the ones where y'all are drunk. Think those
the truly blitz Thanksgiving. Yeah, takes would have a. I mean, I don't think the Swolecast is part of the takes enterprise. What would you even blurb?
Oh God, yeah. That's probably the thing that makes me feel the most old is like the amount of shows I used to do while drinking or on a scale of like tipsy to pretty drunk was a lot. And now I can't even remember the last time I was boozing on stream.
But like ChatGPT, they ripped off a bunch of data sources to get to where they are. And then like afterwards, once they've scaled, then like, oh yeah, we can work out a deal with you. This is why Google kind of fumbled the bag at first on their like entrance into AI because they were so scared what it would do.
Oh, Google ruined their own search algorithm. But
that's why they didn't start. They should have just like got into it, and they might still be okay. Like, but searching as we know it is like, do you still in the past year, do you still use Google as much as you used to?
No, although I have not completely replaced Google with ChatGPT the way that you guys have. I still use it sometimes. But
Google?
Yeah.
I do. I still find I think their AI stuff like
you're also an Android guy, full disclosure.
I don't have to disclose that. That's not relevant. Gee, just fucking.
I don't know why that was so funny, but that was really good. I don't have to disclose that.
Yeah, just like let me talk about it on its like own merits. Like, what does my technological bias have to do with anything? Yeah,
they want you to break out the dual screen.
Yeah,
LG.
that was Clay. Yeah, there you go.
This is how I met Clay.
Yeah,
back on the that was my first influencer gift, a flip phone from Clay, who I believe worked at a marketing company for LG, who had LG as a client at the time.
Shout out to Clay.
Google released something called VO3. I'm not sure if you saw that, but it's like insane. Like the video stuff is getting pretty insane for AI at a rapid pace.
Yeah, those should be illegal.
Yeah. You should say, make me a Davis Matic, only smarter, and let him talk to me in a Davis Matic.
Yeah, that the VO3, all that stuff, deepfakes, that should be illegal. We're talking about the decline of Western society if that stuff just like really takes off.
Okay, we have I've got this workout set I'm creating.
Okay, well.
It's gonna be it's a one that I accidentally ordered. And so
we're familiar.
The home gym still not set up.
I just told you I get weights in, so I'm clearing out one side of the garage and just gonna put it up and see like whatever happens. I need to know. I have a bar. I have a bench. And I've got the power rack. I need you guys, with that being said, I don't have any dumbbells right now. I need to know, other than bench press, what your boy's going to do for that barrel chest. What else do I need to do?
Incline dumbbell press is the single greatest exercise you can have for
I don't
strength.
have dumbbells right now.
You got to get them.
You can do it. Do you have an incline bench? Does your bench incline or is it just flat? Then you can do incline bench on the rack.
Right.
Yeah. Incline press is even better than bench if you're trying to get a barrel chest.
The other thing, Kitchen, I don't know how you're set up. Mine, I was able to get a pulley system. So I'm able to do a bunch of other things. So like I can do like overhead lap pull downs.
That was the double thing that I ordered that was like 3,300 each. So we're not getting that just yet. You know, let's create some good habits, and then we'll get the Aries
I think Kitchen
2.0.
I think honestly, this brainstorming is like you're trying to run before you can even walk. I mean, you need to take things out of cardboard, and then we can start talking. I need something to look forward to. I mean, you have a lot to look forward to because you haven't done anything.
Did you put together your home gym?
With my dad, there was no way in hell I was doing that by myself.
So you did your sauna and your home gym with your dad?
Yeah.
Gosh, my dad.
Smart and bonding.
And he's like, remember, son, maybe if you work out, you'll actually get first place in your field day this year.
Exactly. No, and I'm awful at that kind of stuff. I'm not handy whatsoever. My dad is incredibly handy. He's an engineer. It's so much. All my projects I save until he comes out here to help me.
I've had to learn how to become like significantly more handy as a homeowner because I truly hate asking for help. My father-in-law, obviously crazy handy, really good, like knows everything, has all the tools, but like I have to do, it's like, I'm going to break something first before I call.
I can get with that.
But I've gotten good. Like I've even done like some like minor like electrical work and stuff because I'm just like, I don't want to call. I just want to do it.
That's going to be the saddest obituary. Yeah. Davis Maddock electrocuted himself because he
at first I was going to say good for you. And then I was going to say, if this is actually an issue, a problem that you're having.
Well, I haven't. No, I mean, like I've replaced siding. I've done like some like, I mean, like I've said, I've done some electrical work. I've done some plumbing, like just because I'm like, man, I don't want to call. I really don't.
I do think you should draw the line at things I'm not an expert in that could potentially kill me as things to outsource to a professional.
Yes, if it's like I could actually get hurt, I will I'll say this: if I need if I need like a power saw, like if I have to like cut tile or something, like yes, sure, then I'm called. Like we remodeled the bathrooms. We have two bathrooms here, and he was great. I mean, he knows everything. Like we cut tile, we did all that stuff, and like obviously he, I'm just there to learn. But
we did all that stuff. What do we actually think Davis did?
I cut the tile. He showed me how the it's like a diamond crust, or not diamond. It's some type blade. It wasn't diamond. It was some kind of crazy hard metal to cut the tile, but that's what I did.
Yeah, we have. I didn't think we were going to be bragging about this, but I changed my oil last week on my zero-turn mower, and it took.
That's easy.
No, well, the issue was there was a bolt that the first time, and like I was looking on YouTube, and everyone else was having this problem as well. So there's the bolt on the oil drain.
Well, I don't. This is what. Yes, it was a wet saw. It was a wet. Thank you. There we go. Wet saw. So I do know how to use a wet saw.
So after watching a few YouTube, going in the comment section of these YouTube videos on how to change your oil, people are like, I can't get this bolt off. Like the factory, the first time the factory some people are having to take it back to the, wherever they bought it from. Someone said, put it in a thing of hot water. So that's what I did. I did a hot water, dipped it in there, and then did it. And when I did it, I was just like, I felt so good about myself in that moment. Like this thing that took me like 3 or 4 hours and literally had bruised my hands from trying to grip it open. I couldn't get. The power of YouTube. Like, what do we do before that?
There is something very satisfying about accomplishing a task like that.
Yeah.
I'm about to I'm probably like 1 weekend away from getting out my power washer to deal with all the pollen and stuff that's accumulating. That one always feels good.
Yeah, that I have to do, and I really don't want to.
Gosh, you know what I got? Yes, you know what I got yesterday. I got an Eco.
Oh,
3.
You got it. Go.
I got an Eco. This is really big. One of the electric blowers.
Okay.
765 CFM. It can blow everything. And I just was looking to blow everything when I got that thing.
Pause.
All right, here's something I'm not handy with that
Okay.
I just like really can't figure out. Or I figure it out, but I just mess it up every time. The weed whacker, because I'd never used one before.
We call it a weed eater here.
Sure, weed eater.
We call weed whackers. It's like beer pong versus Beirut. It's a regional thing. I
just end up going through so much of the spool every time because I'm like doing it at the wrong angle or something. I don't know. It's miserable.
Because I'm, yard guy. That's like, I don't like playing video games, but I do like mowing the yard and weed eating. But have you taken the cover off of your weed eater where you're unprotected?
Oh, no.
You got to, Davis.
The other thing that's sometimes happening as someone who had a lawn mowing business in high school is a lot of times if you're inadvertently bumping it on the ground, that's obviously the mechanism that releases more slack in the line. Right. So if you're kind of touching it over and over, you can kind of be burning.
I didn't know you had a lawn mowing business in high school.
Oh yeah,
I did too.
I think it's an angle thing. I think I'm just using.
Hey, Davis, will you shut up? Dave and I are going to talk about our business.
Hold on for a second. What kind of equipment did you have there?
Oh no, I had a shitty equipment. I didn't want to invest any profits into new equipment. I wanted to. My dad was just letting me use our family mower.
I mean, I had it built to where I had an Exmark enclosed trailer. My dad still makes fun of me. I probably shouldn't say this. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it on. But anyways, I had my goals listed, and I just wanted to become like a major landscaping company. And
did you get taken advantage of? Because there's this I basically inherited some of these lawns that an older kid used to mow, and then he's like, you can have this business. And there's this old dude, his lawn was massive, and he had me locked in at an $18 price point, and he just like wouldn't let it budge. And I was I'm a high school kid, I didn't know how to negotiate or whatever. He's making me bag, every 3 rows I'm having to take off the bag. And my hourly on that one had to have been atrocious. I think these elderly people were taking advantage of my labor.
No, I don't think so. But what happened with me is that I got my enclosed trailer stolen. Oof. And as a college kid, it was like at the end of the season, and they I had like a brand new walk behind in there too. I had 2 mowers because I had a guy working with me. And when insurance cut me that check, I was like, oh, that's a pretty nice check. I mean, I'm in college now. I think I'm just going to enjoy college. And so got out of it. But also like it was brutal. It's when you're in August in Tennessee, it is brutal lawn mowing season. So people that do it for like years on end, it's rough.
Yeah, it was. I did. My jobs were I mowed like on the weekends, and then I caddied at the country club by my house. Those were my 2 jobs.
I still have my DK lawn care polo though. Those are like I sent out a direct mailer. I learned like a ton when I was doing this. And also,
wow, you were really trying. Yeah, like maybe me calling it a business is probably
no, it was
how you're describing it.
But I think you learn a lot. Like I'm trying to convince my nephew, who's just turned 13, to eventually start a lawn care business because I want him to learn just some of the stuff that I learned.
Yeah,
and who knows? Maybe in 15 years he'll be a fantasy football analyst that everyone loves tuning into.
And what are the youth of America doing otherwise, Kitchen? They're just playing video games. They could be out there literally touching grass, starting businesses.
Agreed. Davis, did you have any other what was your jobs in high school other than drug dealer?
Selling drugs. Yeah, that's the only job I ever had in high school.
But you learned something through that. Supply, demand.
How to get away from the police or how to get out of tricky situations. Yeah, I think I learned a lot doing that.
Did you ever
the art of the deal, David?
That's right.
You want to talk about something that will prepare you for all kinds of stuff as an adult.
Have you been arrested before, Davis?
Yeah, I've been in jail, man.
What was it like, man?
You just get to read all day. I was there for a week until my hearing, and I think I read about 12 books. It was
juvie though.
Yeah, I was 16.
Yeah,
16.
It wasn't like hard time. It was like
you were reading books from like the juvie library.
Yeah.
Do you remember what you read?
I remember the one that really stuck with me because it was obviously this time in my life, but I read that James Frey book, the A Million Little Pieces.
Okay.
I remember reading that one. I don't think they had like great books. Like I think they had, it was mostly like Drek or whatever, but
War and Peace.
No. I mean, I would have loved to have read that, but yeah,
Did you make any friends?
Well, I actually knew two of the other guys that were in there from, selling drugs. So I already had friends in there.
Have you thought about like leaning into that as a marketing angle? Like Liam puts Best Ball Mania champ in parentheses. Like, what if you were just like streaming Superflex puppies was in prison once?
There is like there's maybe a good bit in like some kind of I'm trying to think of like there could be like a good thumbnail like me in the Scotty Scheffler handcuffs and the yellow jumper or something.
I don't understand this comment from Ball's life at all. He said, how do you get a job in fantasy after going to juvie? Like those are on the opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you not get a job in fantasy after going to juvie?
Yeah. Ever heard of Tommy G? He committed a felony bank robbery.
You're saying that these companies didn't do a thorough enough background check to hire Davis to write about Ladarius Green?
Yeah.
Sad, really?
You're telling me whenever I found Davis Maddock and his Instagram handle was F Davis Maddock. I didn't know this guy's got a little edge to him.
That was what was cool back then because Tyler, the creator's handle was fuck Tyler. So that was what all the fake hardos had their social media handles as.
All right. That was an unexpected turn. See, this is what the Around the Horn loses a little bit of.
Kitchen, have you ever been I'm going to assume you haven't been arrested, but have you ever been close to being arrested?
Yes.
What's that story?
I think Davis and I talked about it on one of the Swoleys only episodes, but I was an idiot and got pulled over it was like one of those DUI lines. And I'm like passing through, and not only were they checking for DUIs, they were checking for expired tags. So they're like, oh, got expired tags. So instead of just writing a check writing a check and paying for it, I waited until like the last notice, and you had to mail in the check. But after I missed like the first date, I mailed a check in at the last possible day that you could mail this check in. And then I got a notice back saying, sorry, since you missed the first date, the second check had to be a cashier's check. So effectively, your license is suspended. So instead of going and getting that changed as a 21-year-old, just fully brain function male, I decided to ride around with a suspended license for a year until I got in a car accident that was the other person's fault. And I convinced them to not call the cops, basically.
Davis, do you know that you've been full screen for this entire David story?
It just is what
has
it
he
is.
really?
Yeah.
There's just there's no this.
It's a 3-up for me. It has not been.
Oh, really?
Davis.
For me,
yeah.
I see Davis in the
this end game stream is about to be. If you guys are about to see you're going to see some of the biggest nightmares in streaming because I'm the one doing it and I have no idea how this is going to go.
I was
there
not
issues
drafting
on
driving.
ADP chasing today?
No,
I didn't see.
But
any issues.
I'm not the
It's-
not the host of ADP chasing. Like
It's
not
a
my
3
account.
boxer. Someone asked if I was drafting and driving. No, in fact, the best year of my life driving will be that year that I drove with a suspended license because you are so aware of your surroundings. We're idiots.
That's facts.
Pete, have you ever been close to being arrested?
I don't think so. I can't think of a time. I'm kind of a goody two shoes. You know?
Yeah. Wow.
One of my college buddies, we were coming back to our house one night, my senior year, and one of our friends just like was peeing in our yard, and our yard was like right off of like a busy street, and the cops saw it. And we're like, it's our yard. We're cool with it, but they were like trying to get him on like indecent exposure or whatever, like with that stuff. And it wouldn't have been an issue, but he was like drunk and started to argue with them, and we're trying to like withhold him. And he ended up getting taken away by those guys. But I don't think I was ever going to be in the crossfire of getting thrown in the back of a cop car with him.
When we were seniors in high school, we rode around with water balloons, throw them in at other cars, and also had eggs. And Ben Pritchett was driving, Davis, former FI co-founder. And we were going to, there's a bonfire party, and we were going to go just bomb them with eggs and water balloons. Well, what we didn't know is that Ben had his foot on the brake the whole time, illuminating the whole back row of trees in red. So they're like, who's this car right there? Someone calls the cops. So we're riding around, we get pulled over, and I have like the eggs underneath me. And the officer's like, what are you guys doing? And I'm like, don't say anything, Ben. And he's like, sir, we're just like hanging out, and he's like, we're just going home or something. He tried to play it cool. And then he said, the officer's like, okay, well, y'all don't need to be out this late. You need to go home. He was heading back to his car, and Ben goes, officer, you want to know the truth? We were throwing water balloons. He had such a guilty conscience that he had to end. He's like, kitchen, show him the water balloons. And I'm like shaking my head. No, because we also had eggs. And he's like, you don't need to be throwing water balloons at people. You definitely need to get. So the officer was cool about it. But to this day, we still make fun of Ben.
Oh, that's awesome.
Car full of guys saying, officer, come back. We really were throwing water balloons at people. That
actually reminds me, we were coming back one time because my school was in San Diego. And so before we were 21, we would go down to Tijuana sometimes. And we were coming back. And for some reason, my idiot friend was like, oh, I'm going to buy, a 6-pack of beer down here and bring back across the border. Of course, we're going through border control. They, asked to look in the car. And, this cop has clearly seen this movie a million times. And he grabs the 6-pack and he comes over. He's like, roll down the window, and he holds. First he had asked, he said, like, do you have anything that you're bringing back over that you like purchased or whatever? And my buddy who was driving was like, nope. And he's like, all right, pop open the trunk. So he brings over the 6-pack of the beer or whatever. And he just comes to him, and I'll never forget this line. And he said, all right, I'm going to ask you a question. Are you a liar or are you an idiot? And my friend paused for way too long, and we're in the back and say, idiot. And he goes, idiot. And the border control guy just drops the 6-pack right on his nuts and says, get out of here.
Wow.
So yeah, all that for
I love how Davis went to jail for actual drug trafficking. You and I are telling stories of like
near real close calls.
Not drug trafficking. I just sold a little bit of.
Have you seen in? I think it might be like Pakistan or something. There's a guy. There's a NBA player, or not NBA player. He is a basketball player over there, but his girlfriend sent him like $400 worth of weed and gummies and now he's facing life in prison. And they made him like stand up. Like they paraded him out in front of everybody, made him stand up and face like the opposite way as they're doing this press conference in front of him.
That's bizarre.
Yeah. So, maybe fantasy analyst is.
All right, I gotta go do the Run the Sims stream. We gotta go.
All right, Davis. See you later, man.
Yeah.
Are you Davis Raddick from the Swolecast? I was like, yep, that's me.
I just want you guys to know I'm total dust. I'm the problem.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Leave it to the guy with the crypto dunes, Abby, to not understand context.
I should have known you getting 30 likes was directly written by someone else.
You know me, I don't do a